My brother shut the door on me on Christmas Eve after I drove 6 hours through a blizzard to see my own family. I stood there with snow in my hair and gifts in my arms. He smirked and said, "Family only this year." The door didn't slam. It clicked shut, soft and polite, like I was nothing. 20 minutes later, my dad accidentally texted me what he meant to send someone else. Unbelievable, she really thought she was welcome. Something in me went dead quiet. I sat in a freezing gas station lot, opened my banking app, and started cutting cords I'd been carrying for years. Back home, the numbers told the truth. Propane every month plus my brother's truck payment, a temporary credit line that was 2 years old, cabin insurance, snowplow service, and endless catch-up bills. I kept calling it helping, but real families don't take your money and laugh while you stand outside in the cold, so I canceled everything. Every autopay, every transfer, every shared account. Each time the app asked, "Are you sure?" I hit yes. I slept maybe 2 hours. Then my phone lit up like it was on fire, 43 missed calls. Text that said, "Call me right now," like I was an employee who'd left early. My sister-in-law left a voicemail shaking, "Please don't do this. We have payments coming out tomorrow." Payments. Not me, just payments. My dad called next, irritated like I'd embarrassed him. "This is childish," he said. "Families have misunderstandings." I didn't call back. A misunderstanding is forgetting an extra plate. What they did was a choice. That afternoon, an email from a Michigan bank hit my inbox. Refinance notice for my parents' Christmas tree, farm, and winter cabins. Under financial guarantor was my full legal name. I hadn't signed anything. I hadn't agreed to anything. Being shut out in the snow was cruel. Seeing my name on their debt was dangerous. I started saving everything. Statements, voicemails, texts. In late January, my mom called, voice low and scared. She whispered, "There are papers," and I don't think I understood what I signed. She said my brother and his wife were helping, talking about an LLC. They waved documents at her and swore I'd already agreed. 2 weeks later, I drove back to Michigan with no gifts and no hope. I walked into that warm living room like a bill coming due. My dad sat with the TV muted and wouldn't meet my eyes. My brother and his wife hovered, smiling too fast, like they could charm me back into compliance. I put the papers on the coffee table and asked my mom, "Did you know this company is registered to her?" My sister-in-law snapped, "You ran off. You only show up when you want attention." I said, "I showed up on Christmas Eve. You left me outside." She rolled her eyes. "You weren't invited. That's different." My dad tried to shut it down. "Maybe this isn't the time." I looked at him and said, "When would be the time, Dad? Before or after my name gets used on a loan I didn't sign?" Then the mask slipped. My sister-in-law leaned forward. Her voice went flat. "Fine. You want the truth?" She pointed at me like I was a receipt. "You were never the daughter everyone loved. You were the account we called when things got expensive." The room went silent. My brother didn't deny it. My dad didn't defend me. My mom started crying into her hands. I flipped my phone over and stopped the recording. Then I stood, gathered my papers, and said, "Good. Then that account is permanently closed." Monday morning, I didn't rant online. I sent a dispute letter to the bank and demanded a fraud review. Then I called a lawyer who handled elder financial exploitation. Within days, the refinance froze and lenders started asking questions. Their truck payment bounced, their credit line went past due, and the lake house deal collapsed. They started calling from blocked numbers like that would change math. At the emergency hearing, the judge cared about signatures and pressure, not family drama. When that recording played, my sister-in-law's line didn't sound powerful. It sounded ugly. The court froze any move on the farm. The bank pulled my name and opened an investigation, and the LLC transfer died. My brother called me cruel. My dad called me humiliating. But what they called humiliation was just daylight. The next Christmas, the farm was still standing, and my mom had separate accounts, a real bookkeeper, and the backbone to say no out loud. I didn't get some movie apology. I got freedom. So tell me what you'd do. Be honest. Would you forgive them and keep paying, or would you shut the account down for good?